Hey, heidi ho, and season's greetings. Welcome back to Destination, your place for all things Destino. I'm your host, Poteet. Today, we head back to our most recent season, season 13. That's right, it is the season, Wistman's Wood. Joining me today, we have the runner-up, one vote away from the victory, none other than Cam. How are you doing today, Cam?
I'm doing great, Poe. Thanks for rubbing that in, by the way.
You're
My
welcome.
uh my beautiful, beautiful crown
Runner-ups
that's
club
made
is
of silver.
stacked, okay? My fellow
It's
runner-up, okay?
sexy. It is a
So,
great place to be in. Always
better
a
than
chance to
winners
recruit.
club. Like, do you really want to be like in the winners group, or would you rather be with the cool kids? You know,
Never, nah, cool kids all the way. You sent me a thing in DMs about like who won first and who was second.
yeah. And
A
ours is way more
hundred
stacked,
percent, 100%. I agree.
undoubtedly. So, um, for this season, obviously, it was the best season in Destino history. So how's it feel to be a part of that?
Honestly, I couldn't ask for better. There was so much going on that season that like there it was everything you could have asked for in an experience.
Other than winning,
And you can't see my face, but I'm mm,
you're angry.
oh nah, but it was an honor to be, especially like high tier, like with the best season that y'all say, that y'all say.
Actually, I believe
Um,
it's in the no Tommy tier.
the no Tommy tier, yes, of
Yes.
course, of course. No, like it was a blast to play, and I think that it deserved where it is, and I'm glad that everyone sees it that way.
Yep. Well, I guess we can just jump ahead, or I guess jump back to the beginning of the season. So, Wistman's Wood begins. You are put on the Crocker tribe. So, uh, let's go a little bit into that. How did you feel about the Crocker tribe? Who were you close with? How did you feel within the dynamic of that tribe? Any sort of info you can shine on that?
So I felt pretty okay coming into it. I had a family event going on at first, so my social game wasn't like the strongest coming into the game. But I previously played with McKenna the season right before, like the season I played right before Destino, and she left due to personal reasons. So I thought it was really nice to see her again. And we started something back up that clearly never came into the work.
Yep. Uh,
Sorry.
oh, no worries.
And then obviously Calvin, I kind of talked to. We got chill like in the beginning, and then like that was really who I mainly focused on. Wanted to solidify a good group of three, and then like expand upon that. Um, and then obviously after the first day, I started talking to everyone. It was okay. Like it wasn't too lively, like especially from what I expected from the beginning of the game. But obviously, everyone's nervous, doesn't want to be like a big headshot, like big honcho kind of thing.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you mentioned being close to McKenna because the funny thing that we hosts noticed was that everyone felt that way about McKenna at the time. Uh,
Every, McKenna is such a lovable person. I feel like that, like no matter what happens, you can be like, "Oh, we love McKenna."
yep. And like literally, I think everybody on the tribe, other than probably like Will, had McKenna as their number one in
That's
that
too
first round.
funny.
It was absolutely insane, just like how McKenna sort of took that tribe by storm. And, it's sort of what you said. You took some time to start talking to people. And I think everybody did that. And, like, McKenna was the only one really talking to everybody. And everyone else just, like, had, like, a couple people that they spoke all the time to and a couple people they never spoke to. And it was different for every person. It wasn't that anybody was inactive. Everyone just talked
Mhm.
to different groups of people.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I know like Will and Bryce were really close when everything first started. Like I know I was on the bottom come after the first boot, which was really fun. I don't know if we want to get into that yet.
You can go into that, of course.
Yeah, no. So the wiki challenge, that was hard. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
I
it was fun.
I designed the
It,
challenge a long time ago. I was super excited to bring it in.
it was a great concept, but I feel it, and like it definitely showed people's worth more than like this like traditional like trials, like a flash game, flag making, and then like the third thing.
The
Um,
third thing.
but no, this is something else. Throw something in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But nah. So during the challenge, like a lot of people worked together. We discussed a time. Didn't start ahead like some players. um,
Hey, you still
but
lost though.
it's we got one wrong. Lo and behold, by McKenna. But we worked really good together, and then almost everyone was on. But Skylar DMs us after the challenge, after we submit in the tribal, being like, "Hey, I'll be able to hop on." And then me and Bryce are saying our goodbyes after the tribal submitted. Everyone worked together, and she hops on and she's like, "Oh, where's everybody?" And me and Bryce are like, "You got to be kidding me!" So, and then we told her that we submitted, and then obviously she became our very iconic first boot to start off the season.
Yes, yes, yes. And of course you had all the fallout from that. Just as a side, sorry, I just wanted to double check first. Skylar does
Mhm.
use they them. Just wanna.
Oh, I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We're all good now, as long as you know. Yeah. Uh.
Yeah, no, my bad.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You're fine. It's been a while.
Skylar, don't cancel me.
We're
Icon.
canceling you, Cam. You can't do anything about it.
Uh,
So, yeah. How'd you feel about the final words that happened at the Skylar boot?
I want to pull them up. All I remember is this is why I don't play with teenagers, and two of those exact teenagers were first and second place. So it's really nice to see how
Including
things come
one of
full
the ones
circle.
Skylar voted for.
Oh, exactly. So it made it even better.
And just like while you're looking at it, the funny thing to me about the challenge was the only reason you lost was because there was just one player on the other tribe that hard carried, and that was Jaden. Jaden single handedly did the challenge, basically, was the funny thing.
Oh, we love Jaden for that.
And welcome, Cappy. How you doing, Cappy?
I'm doing good.
We're still in round one, so you haven't missed too much.
Oh, okay.
So while Cam's looking up Skylar's final words right now, so if you want to jump in right now and discuss sort of the round one on history, sort of how you felt about that tribe dynamic and everything, if you have any thoughts.
Ooh. Um, I mean, the only thing I really remember that stuck out from round one was that I immediately clocked Jaden as being very social, because he seemed to already have a good connection with everyone. And also, obviously, the lucky mess up at the challenge, where she started the challenge without any of us there. But Jaden came in clutch.
One could s- one could say that it was pretty unlucky.
Yeah, I want to go now.
Fair enough. All right.
Sorry, we're gonna cancel the episode. Sorry, Poe.
It's okay. I'll just talk about Wistman's Wood on my own. I want to pull the season down a tier. So yeah. So how did you feel after winning the first challenge, Cappy? Obviously with the rough start, you probably were pretty worried about your chances of pulling it off, but you managed to eke by just due to Crocker underperforming.
Honestly, it felt pretty good winning the first challenge because it also kind of helped us solidify the majority, which was myself, Dinah, Jaden, Kyle, and Sam, I believe.
Sam was like on the outside of the majority, yeah.
Yeah.
Like wasn't in the alliance, but everyone in the majority liked Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Bryce. Welcome, Bryce. How you
Hey,
doing?
I might as well be here for half an hour because I thought the Amazing Race was on at 9 or at 8, but never mind.
Hmm. That's where they get you, I guess.
Yep.
So we're discussing round one right now. So if you have any thoughts on round one, being on that original Kraken tribe, losing the challenge, voting out Skylar, sort of how you felt about that first round of the game.
Well, honestly, like, okay, I guess Skylar was essentially pretty popular among people. I never got why. Maybe because they were in other orgs or whatnot. But like, the only time I ever heard Skylar like truly talk was like the moment we found out we lost the challenge. And that right there spoke to me like, okay, you're just not active. You don't really interact with many people. You don't seem to be beneficial to my game in the long run. So I figured it would be best to get rid of someone who's not going to be there to compete for tribe challenges, especially considering that Skylar told us that she was going to be there to help us, but then by the time we were done the challenge, that was the moment that she got back. And I was just like, or they, sorry, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
probably fucking this up.
You're fine.
But yeah, yeah. So they showed up at the very end of the challenge. We were all just like, what the hell? Like now you show up of all times, and it's just like I think everybody was just kind of done with Skylar, so it was kind of a unanimous decision to just get rid of them.
Yep, that it was, and one of the more memorable final words of the season for sure.
Yes, this is why I don't play orgs with teenagers. Like I'm 21. like, like come on.
I've literally been told in an org before when I was 17 that high schoolers should be barred from orgs.
Oh god.
Classic. So yeah, with that, we lose Skylar. We head into the second round of the game. Obviously, a big one for one of us in this call. Um, so how sort of the tribe dynamic changed between the first and the second round, if at all, before or like during the challenge, I suppose would be the better question. Did you really see any developments from the first round?
I mean, like what really popped off, especially on like Crackpot side, was the fact that we had the Jackbox night, or we played games or whatever, because that really boosted my social game to get me off the block. Because I was originally supposed to go right now instead of Bryce, and
Yep.
then and then and then obviously plans changed because people got to like me more. Don't know how, but so we bonded and we decided to go on Calvin because after the first challenge he was saying how he hurt his wrist, and we all saw that as like a downfall to our physical game, especially because we didn't want to be going to tribal 4 or 5 times in a row. So obviously people thought that me and Bryce were close, I guess due to us being on FaceTime, or not FaceTime, but the VC, and people saw me more valuable, or at least that's how I think it went. But then clearly I got blindsided with Bryce going, and then Bryce is gone.
Yeah, you were incredibly likable, especially considering how you kept screwing up on mini golf. Like
It's not
every
my fault.
you were rubber banding so bad, and it was just unbelievable to watch. And it just made me like you so much because you were just having a blast with me and Will, and I just felt horrible to want to get rid of you at that point because you seemed like you were having so much fun. You wanted to be there. You were really disarming, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
The
I
teleporting
gotta
ball
get
was
rid of Calvin.
fantastic. I love the teleporting ball when you were rubber banding. That was classic.
I tried my best. That's all I can say. 48 shots for one hole.
48
Okay.
shots.
Won like every single time, I think, except for like once. And I think that was Poteet actually
Yeah,
that won
only
that
good
once.
players win mini golf. And what about on your side, Cappy? Did anything notable really happen on Hessery in this second round, in your opinion?
So the only two things I can think of is Lucky was not so much public enemy number one anymore. because the first challenge had obviously passed. And another thing was B kind of managed to wiggle her way into the majority dynamic because she proposed a trio with myself and Dinah. But we did end up swapping before that ever became official.
Yeah, and you really sort of just saw like the debate between Cart and B really rise up, and that was I mean, I think
I
it
mean,
obviously comes down to Cart, but like B was
yeah,
definitely
that
on
wasn't
the
really a
hot seat
debate.
for a bit there too. It was just that B wasn't
Cart,
as bad.
yeah, I mean, Cart. I think I had more messages with Cart than Lucky or B, but it was obvious that they just did not want to be there as much as the rest of us did. They just weren't putting in much effort into the game.
Yep. Unfortunate when that happens, of course, but it does happen. And then you see Hessery win the second challenge once again. Better tribe, easy. And Crocker and heads back. You have your Jackbox night, and that's where we sort of see the idea get flipped. And there's a lot of fallout from this. And I'm just going to say something that at the time you weren't aware of course, but McKenna and Calvin were each other's number ones. And so um, it was really funny when uh, you and Will Bryce started plotting to go for Calvin, and you were going to the chat with McKenna, and the host chat were all just like, "Oh, this is not gonna end well."
Yeah, honestly, I had no. Well, I kind of had an idea, but I didn't think it was solid because McKenna was kind of steering away from the idea to get rid of Calvin and wanting to put it on somebody else. So I don't know if it was Cam that she wanted to put it on at like in the end, but he was definitely trying to get us off of getting rid of Calvin, like saying, well, his wrist injury isn't really that big of a deal. We shouldn't get rid of him just for that. And we were like, but I don't know. He's going to be too much of a liability going forward for like physical conflict. And then I guess she fake budged on it, or so she was just like, yeah, screw it, whatever. But then, of course, that wasn't true because I was gone.
Yeah, yeah. Cam was definitely McKenna's intended target, but I think there's a chance that if you pitch Taylor, Taylor goes, and potentially Akira. I think Calvin was just like the unlucky one, where like that's the one person McKenna never votes for. I think, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we tragically lose Bryce. Um, and I think definitely the consensus that you went too early.
I mean, I guess from what Akira said, like, I think I don't know if this is going too far. Like at her speech, she said like I was apparently like a very strong physical, mental, and social threat. I'm like, Jesus, was I that
The
good?
all
Like,
rounder.
I guess.
Yeah. And so with Bryce gone, um, we head into the next Circle of the Druids ritual, which is the swap. This one's forced on you, and so you can either pick dark or light. And so, what drove your decisions on dark or light, Kim and Cappy, if there was any specific driving factor?
So my decision to swap wasn't actually my own because I decided to be lazy and put it off, and I did it at the last second, and apparently, um, was it Hessery was already full, so I got automatically put onto Crackern.
And what about you, Cam, if you're around?
Yeah,
There we go.
so basically, I just didn't want to go to tribal, and I thought that like a majority of Hessery would like stick together. Clearly, some did, but not who I intended. Um, but clearly, I didn't get my break from tribal at least one or two more times. But it was the hope.
Keep hope alive. And so you're sorting to your new tribes, both of you swapping away. And we head to that next challenge, and Cappy's tribe once again on a roll. But what was sort of that new swap dynamic? Obviously, Cappy and Cam, you're both in the minority in your tribe. So, what sort of efforts did you put in that round to try to escape that minority position?
So I'll just go first since we didn't end up going to tribal. Um, I think the main effort was just trying to see any cracks in the four of Akira, Calvin, Taylor, and McKenna. And we did actually find one really early because McKenna approached, I think it was Kyle, and was like, "Hey, I want to flip. I don't want to stick with the three of them. I think they're a tight three, and I don't want to play with OG Crocker anymore. So I want to work with you." And then I think that was it for the final 14.
Yeah, so basically, we had like that one period, like a small period of time where we were like one world and we got to like communicate with each other. And then, so I really connected with Sam B during that time. And when I switched, it was only me and Will. So obviously we were each other's one like number one ally. And then when I found out I was in the same tribe with Sam B, he was like, um, that like he said that all of his allies left him, or like like it didn't work out in his favor. So then obviously that was an easy pickup for me. And then with the dynamic after that, everyone I feel like was just power hungry from OG Hessery because they haven't gone to tribal yet. It's their first tribal. They're excited. They don't know what to do. And so we kind of established lines. Me and Will both connected to each other, kind of like is seen through. Like other people see it. But so like B and Will got really close. I know Lucky and Dinah were still together, and then me and Will were proposed or had a group chat proposed with B and Dinah during. I think I think it was um with this vote. It might have been after. Sorry, but yeah, nothing happened with that. They were like people were just hungry and ready for something new.
Yep. And so, this is definitely an interesting tribal, in my opinion, for you, Cam, because obviously we've played together before with Cart. And so it was interesting to see how that would work out. And obviously, it ends with you getting Cart out of the game. So, um, what was sort of the main decision into eliminating Cart at that point?
Yeah, no, because I know a lot of people think that I'm like willing to work with people that I played with in the past. Obviously I have that bond. I'll become closer with them. Like I'll most likely go in that direction. But at the same time, I know that I'm playing for myself and my game, and whatever brings me forward, what pushes me to the next placement. That was my whole thing. This entire game, which was just keep pushing forward. Get whatever I can, and with voting out Cart, it was pretty unanimous. I can't say the word. But everyone voted.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No, but because like Cappy said, he wasn't really in the game. Like he was there, but he wasn't participating like everyone else was, and we just thought that it was like their time to go. And yeah,
All right. And so now we go into the next round, this round being a lot more juicy. And you have another ritual. And as always, the rituals are very much up in the air. And this ritual gets denied. And I think if it gets accepted, we see a very different game play out from this point on. I mean, honestly, this round, there's a lot of reasons it could have completely changed the fate of the game. But this was the first, was the denial of the ritual, where if it had passed, the eliminated player swaps to the other tribe and is saved from elimination. Um, but once again, Hessery wins the Crockern wins the challenge, sending Hessery back, and you see a very, very divided tribe in this. So, how did this round go, Cam?
Oh boy. um, so obviously we lost. What I knew is that me and Will were on the bottom. We obviously had our connections, but like there was still OG tribe lines, and with that, Sam B was more of our intel of like they had the OG group, like a group chat after the swap. You know, plans were still being made there. He spilled everything with us, and he was like, "Cam, you're on the block." And I'm like, okay, what the fuck do I do? You know, pardon my French, but oh my god, because I wanted to stay. You know, I fought. You know, and so I talked to Will and I was like, what do you feel about working with Sam? And we hit it off right away. You know, we wanted to keep our odds. You know, try to make get power. You know, make it until the merge. And so what happened was I was targeted. From what I heard, I was targeted by Lucky due to me being too connected within the tribe. Obviously, through a group chat made by B and Dinah with me and Will to use as leverage, and then also Lucky trying to get another group chat with me and Will that was never made to try to more establish how connected we were. And then so Sam B proposed a thought of a 3-2-1 vote, but I personally couldn't trust B. Will and B being connected. B was the swing, and girl was robbed. Let me tell you. Oh my god, she didn't deserve to go when she did. But so what happened was me, Sam B, and Will voted Lucky to with just because Sam B told us that we wanted to keep him with us. And then Lucky, Dinah, and B tragically voted me, which caused a revote to where I begged my ass off to make sure Will stayed with my side. I was like, you fought with me already this far. Why wouldn't you go the same? You know, like trying to pull heartstrings, trying to make him feel guilty if he didn't vote with me, anything I could. And clearly it worked. I know votes were locked in pretty early, and then I think B locked it in instantly.
Almost instantly
And
within the first few minutes.
yeah, and Will was trying to wait for B to try to keep her safe, and clearly she signed her own death certificate. And we went to rocks, and with that rock draw, B was robbed and removed
Just
from
to
the
be
game.
clear, B later came back and asked if she could swap to voting out Lucky. So it was just an unfortunate case of B locked in before she should have. And yeah, if that changes, Lucky goes there, and you see a lot of changes happen, because with Lucky goes the idol, because Lucky had the idol at this point, and all this other stuff. And so, probably a very different fate for you, Cam, should that happen. That may have accidentally gotten you to Final Tribal.
Oh.
Well, just sort of the butterfly effect of it all, I guess.
Really is.
Yep.
And then isn't this the spot where Dinah and Calvin's advantage were figured out by
I believe
my group?
so. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
like
that's where it was announced.
yeah, like in the tree mail, people's names are spelled out.
I was so proud of that idea. I thought that was like a clever way of running it, where you get something
It was
public,
great.
and you were the only group
And
that
then
caught
we
on to
never
it.
worried
Nobody
about
else
Dinah's
noticed
idol.
it other than you three.
And that's why we're the best.
Well, yeah. With this, we head into the final 13 round, I believe. Something like that. Final 12, whatever. And for once, Cam and Will get immunity. So, congratulations, Cam. And we see Cappy's tribe go to Tribal Council. So, Cappy, how did this Tribal Council go down?
Okay, so well, I think it's important to mention that this is about the time where me and Akira became like ride or dies. Like this is when we started messaging a lot. And I actually use that connection to my advantage because, as I said before, right after the swap, Akana had been trying to play the middle. She was trying to tell Akira, Calvin, and Taylor that she was sticking with them, and she was trying to tell me, Kyle, and Jaden that she was gonna go with us. Um, and we didn't trust her at all. Or I think Jaden did, and he was paranoid that he would go if we exposed her for trying to play the middle. But we did it anyway, and this caused Akira and Taylor to flip their votes onto McKenna. Um, and this also, in an interesting situation, this caused Calvin to flip his and McKenna's votes onto myself. Because well, we later learned that it was because him and McKenna were like number ones. Um, but at the time he said it was because he thought I was trying to put myself in the middle of the tribe. Um, so that led to the 5-2 vote, which saw McKenna go home. Um, Trying to think. I think that's all that happened that round. But it's also what saw the eventual divide of Calvin to Akira and Taylor.
Yep. Because obviously, at this point, Calvin really sort of just doesn't have anybody with him at this point. All he has
Mm-hmm.
is an advantage. And to be fair, advantage almost works out with this next round. So once again, Cam's safe. Um, and we head back to the Crockern Tribal Council.
Yes.
And so, how did this one shake out? Obviously,
Um,
on paper it might look easy, but I think this one was a lot crazier than it might look, personally.
this one was basically the same thing, but just a lot more dramatic and a lot more intense because Calvin had the I don't even know what it's officially called, but it
Vote
was like the
curse.
curse. Yeah. And he used it on Jaden, so Jaden could only vote myself or Kyle. So we were like, we're doomed. It's gonna be a 4-2 on either myself or Kyle. And this was also the first time that my relationship with Akira really came in clutch because she managed to wiggle the vote onto Kyle initially when we thought it was going to be 4-2. But then I think it was literally like 4 hours before tribal. Um, Calvin decided to approach Jaden and make a plan where we would 3-2-1 out Taylor. Now, this plan ended up not working, obviously, and because we ended up exposing that plan to Akira, who then in turn told Taylor, and after much discussion between myself, Kyle, Akira, and Taylor, including an alliance being formed so we could all chat together, um, we decided that Calvin couldn't be trusted and he was trying to play the same game as McKenna was trying to play. And so we needed to vote him out, which caused a 4-1-1 vote, with myself, Akira, Taylor, and Kyle voting Calvin. Jaden voted me because of the curse, and then Calvin voted Jaden. And because Calvin tried to flip the vote on Jaden last minute, so it'd be a 3-2-1 on Jaden. And this fake plan that Calvin made with Jaden and Kyle and myself also caused Taylor to flush his idol um in what I thought was a pretty funny moment because he said um some foreshadowing. He said he wanted to make merge and he played his idol just in case that we decided to go with Calvin on a Taylor vote. And then, oh, I guess we'll get to what happens with that next round.
All right. And before we even jump into next round, there was another circle of druids in this round about the merge, whether or not we would be merging at 10 or at 9. And it's funny, there's only 3 people in the entire game who voted no. And that was Cam, Will, and Sam. And if one of them had voted yes, I believe the merge happens at 10. Um, which brings its own set of changes. But the funnier thing to me is if Cam's tribe loses that challenge, one of the three who refused to go to the merge goes home. So, yeah, it's just funny how it works out sometimes, right? You sort of saw that change a lot. People who were voting no to rituals were the people who could benefit from the rituals. B voting no to the one where B got rocked out and stuff like that. So it's always funny how those shaked out. But yeah, we head into this next round. And so what happens at this final pre-merge tribal council?
Okay, so this one wasn't as insane as the last two. Um, but I found this vote interesting because there was so much foreshadowing to it happening. Because the first thing, obviously, well, the vote was me, Kyle, and Jaden voted Taylor, and Akira and Taylor voted Jaden. So the first thing was Calvin said at McKenna's vote that I was going to put myself in the middle by exposing McKenna, and that did actually happen in this vote because Akira especially was relying on my vote to save Taylor and get out Jaden. And then also obviously Taylor saying that he's going to make merge because he's playing his idol was another foreshadowing because he was the final pre-merge boot with this tribal. And I also just want to explain my decision to vote Taylor over Jaden this round because there seemed to be like Akira didn't really understand why I did it. And it also caused the perception that me, Kyle, and Jaden were like this tight, unbreakable trio. And I just did it because I wanted. The main reason was because I knew Taylor was Akira's number one in game, and I kind of wanted to get rid of that because I wanted to be Akira's number one, like the person that she would never vote out, the person that she would always trust. And then the other reason was because I felt that Kyle and Jaden and me, even if we weren't always going to stick together, we were going to stick together at the merge. And those were three numbers that I really wanted going into the merge round was because that would give us a near majority already if Akira wasn't to flip. So that was just my individual thought process going into this vote as the supposed swing between Jaden and Taylor.
Yep. All right. And yeah, so Taylor goes home. So we have Calvin Taylor sitting there on the jury. And we head into the merge. And this is where the game really opens up. So obviously you both are united for the first time, not counting that summit. And so let's go through this merge round. We have our new ritual, which introduces new advantage in the game, which Sam wins. So let's start there, I suppose. What was sort of the impact of Sam getting this big mystery advantage?
Well, I think the biggest impact was that it immediately put a target on his back. Like we did not know what this advantage was. And we wanted to make sure that it wasn't some sort of idol that we were keeping in the game. So Sam kind of became the enemy of, I guess I could just say, swapped Crocker and the four of us that made it there.
Yeah, Bestie got screwed over with that advantage. like,
Yeah.
like he really like had nothing going for him until he won the advantage, which really sucked. And obviously it was close, right? It was just a one vote flip.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
Yeah.
also he lied to me and said it was a white pearl. But that kind of spiraled into what if it's some other sort of idol and he's just trying to make it seem weaker than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's always the thing with mystery advantages. I think pretty much everybody else tried throwing that challenge other than Sam. It was like Will and Sam were the only two, I think. So yeah, and then we have the immunity challenge, which I believe was stab, if memory serves me right. I wonder who
Well,
won
that was
stab.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
Huh? Probably
It
nobody.
definitely made me a physical threat, though.
uh, Cappy physical beast.
Yeah, I want a social challenge.
Oh yeah, those are all that matters, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, obviously you get that immunity. So were you worried to have won the stab challenge at that time?
Yes and no, because I was worried, obviously, because I thought it might paint me as a social threat. Um, and threat level management was definitely a big thing for me in this game. Like, I just did not want to become a big threat and then get voted out for it. But also, I felt like it could kind of just be ignored because it seemed more like it was just other people targeting each other and just like not necessarily going after me, if that makes sense. Like, it felt like it was just more people going after each other and ignoring me instead of like wanting me to win.
Yeah, and it helped that there were so many just like opposite sides here.
Hmm.
And the funniest thing to me was Will got third in that challenge, and Will wanted Dino to win, but still cut Dino, which I don't
Yeah.
get why, because I think Dino wins if Will changes that.
I had 2 lives left at the end of the game, so I'm not sure.
I think Dinah had two as well, and it was just because Dinah got stabbed that you ended up winning that.
Yeah,
I think it was just whoever Will stabbed was losing.
that's funny.
Yep. Absolutely classic. And so, we get this big old merge vote. Your first chance to vote out someone as a united group. How does that go?
Um, United, not
Oh yeah,
necessarily.
fully united,
don't know her.
camaraderie.
Yeah, I think it was about as split as it could be. It was like
It was five to
so split
four.
down the middle.
It was five to
Yeah,
four. Yeah. So yeah. Let's walk through this vote a bit. Why don't we?
yeah. I mean, so the big thing this vote was the percepted trio of myself, Kyle, and Jaden, and going after us, and then also going after the tree or like the supposed trio of Sam B, Cam, and Will, or like the two big points of this merge. Try what I would say.
But like,
Yeah, I mean, like, oh, sorry.
you go ahead. It's your podcast.
No, just from our point of view, it was more we wanted to get like we wanted to take down like their supposed what we saw as a trio, and what Cappy said, it was our side versus their side really, and it was oh,
I think it also ended up being like Lucky's connection or Will's connection with Lucky, and then my connection with Akira ended up going on their respective sides, and then it was ultimately Dinah's deciding vote.
mhm.
And Dinah decided to go with myself, Kyle, Akira, and Jaden. Really it.
Yep.
And then me and Will cry on call for like 10 minutes.
Rest in peace, Pokemon Nights.
Oh god, that was fun. We still haven't played because they're too busy.
Tragic. You gotta force
I
them.
know, right?
You just gotta force them at this point.
That's too much work.
All right, and so yeah, we see Sam head out, but before Sam heads out, there's this little trinket in the game that first gets dealt with. So,
Oh shit.
Cam, you get a little something in your bag.
Yeah, I stumbled upon something shiny 3 hours before it happened. Oh my god. No, so Sam decided to give me his advantage before he left, which was the reveal token. And it basically just made tribal public. and he just wanted to see it used, not go to waste, and like try to like cause something to happen. Clearly didn't work out how he intended. It wasn't used this season, but it didn't go without thought.
In fact, it wasn't played because you overslept.
That is exactly what happened.
Ah,
I
the
mean, like
classic.
either way,
Wait,
when I wanted to play
seriously?
it,
Yes.
yeah. But the thing is,
When?
when I wanted to play it, like it was clearly you knew who voted with who, so I didn't see a point of
Oh,
ever
okay.
using it, because we knew who was voting who and who was going to be the swing. To where
Yeah.
there was never a necessity of revealing and making the votes public, and that would have just put a target on my back. To where I decided to just have it in my pocket. I was gonna play it just to play it, in honor of Sam, but then like Poe said, I fell asleep.
I'm pretty sure it was it was either the round that you left Cappy or the round before. I don't remember the exact round it expired.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that would have been pretty useless.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, on paper, it's a very situational advantage, anyways. It only works to like try to force people into stuff, or if you have an
It
idol to
really
back it
does.
up.
It does. I had plans. Like I considered, like what spot it would be good to like try to reveal who's voting with who. But then it started to become more apparent of who became the swing more often, and it just didn't matter.
Welcome, Tommy.
Wait, I don't know who that was.
You're honored to.
Yo, Tommy, this is your favorite season, right?
I don't know. I didn't host it.
Exactly.
It's
That's
the
why
only
it's your
reason I got
favorite.
cast.
No headaches for you.
True.
True.
That is true.
That's all that matters.
Are we
Is it still
headaches,
going on,
Percy?
or am
Yeah,
I?
yeah, we're
Or do
still
I
going
like
on.
come on? Oh,
We're early merge right now.
okay.
And so, yeah, with Sam gone, we head into this second round of the merge where Will wins immunity. And so Will being one of the biggest targets in the game at this point, um, helps narrow down stuff a little bit more. So, what goes on at this second merge round where we end up losing Kyle?
It was supposed to be just a boring vote, but some shiny trinkets were played.
Good old
Oh,
trinkets.
I forgot that that's this vote.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, I don't. So clearly, I was destined to go home as I'm staring at the lovely Cam from Modern Family Parchment, and Lucky said otherwise.
Yes, Lucky did. And
No,
Lucky never lies. So
Lucky never lies. And with Dinah being the only one I think who knew about the idol, no one saw this coming except them. Probably not even Dinah. At the lovely Cam and with what she said or what Lucky claimed, it was that she saw the numbers and wanted to. How I saw it, she was kissing Will's ass, but she says otherwise.
yeah.
But clearly, me being Will's number one, she decided to play it on me and not herself, and it worked until the next round, where clearly we all had something in mind that kind of probably ruined Lucky's plan.
I will say that even though Kyle was very fun to talk to throughout the game, we both admitted that we were planning on betraying each other near the final 6 or 7. And since Kyle did go out at this tribal at 8, there was really no need for me, Jaden, and Kyle to like backstab each other. And I think that definitely made making it as far as I did a lot easier. So I didn't want Kyle to go here, but it didn't hinder my plans very much. I can't speak for anyone else. It was just my individual viewpoint.
I mean, from my side, like obviously with Sam gone, it was me and Will, and then we adopted Lucky into our new trio. Or at least that's how we saw it during the game. And so We saw it as a benefit more because obviously we were still trying to attack the other trio, like you, Cappy, Jaden, and Kyle, who obviously then went.
Yes. So wait, I've always wanted to ask, what made you guys go for Kyle over me or Jaden?
I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it's because we were aiming for Akira to vote with somebody, and we knew that she wouldn't vote you.
Okay.
I think it's this. I think it's this round. If it's not that, then it was something else. But it was us trying to. We were trying to people please. That I know.
Yeah,
Will's voting
makes sense.
confessional says that it's because they want to avoid an idol being played, and they thought Kyle was the least likely to be the recipient of the idol.
Yeah, that's it.
So nice little safety net in that sense. So
Thanks, Poe.
yes, of course. And so with Kyle idled out, that's another advantage taken out of this game, and it brings us into the next round of the merge, where I'm sure to a lot of people's joy, Will was the one taken out. Uh, a lot of people wanted Will gone. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. Why Will? What did Will ever do to y'all?
Oh boy. Um, I don't actually remember the round specifically that much, but the reason why we went for Will was because he was just, I mean, Lucky everyone saw as a GOAT at this point. Um, and Will was just louder than Cam, so that like made people just think that he was controlling Cam, which obviously Cam had their perception as well, um, based on the votes. So, like I said, I don't really remember this vote that well. Except at the end of the vote, I did manage to convince, or I managed to lie about who I was voting, so Dinah would tell me that they had the idol, which didn't really affect the outcome of the game. Or actually, it did. Like the knowledge that Dinah had the idol did definitely affect things, but that's all I remember.
Okay, so for this round, it was me, Will, Lucky. Will wanted to feed into Dinah's fake idol paranoia because obviously Dinah had the idol. Me and Will didn't know, but I knew Dinah had something besides um the curse, but I just didn't know what. I didn't know if it was true. I just had a gut feeling, and then obviously I found out through Jaden later. But with this vote, Will was trying to feed into the paranoia, saying that he had the idol to Dinah. Um, and then clearly that didn't go through. And then during that time as well, I tried to put on my little big boy cape, and I was like, I talked to Cappy, I talked to Jaden, and I was like, hey, whatever Will says isn't true. There's nothing going on. I want him out as much as you guys do. And yeah, I mean, I can clearly we all knew Will was a target to leave because like with what Cappy said, he was louder than me, which I was aware of, and that I wanted to stay behind so I could excel farther. Because like I know you said in like the character introduction for like this podcast, Poe, I tend to run, but I fall and I fall hard. So I had Will as my cane essentially to keep me up.
You were running with a cane?
I like to tap dance a little bit as a break, and I need it for my set.
Oh, okay. That checks
Mhm.
out. Because I'm just
Yeah, I
trying to
will
imagine like
say,
trying to run with a cane. I feel like you're way
It's like
more likely to trip.
um, yeah, I will say that Will claiming that he had the idol is eventually what got me to get Dinah to reveal that they actually had the idol because I was like, I'm voting Cam because I'm gonna 3-2-2 Cam because Will has the idol, and they were like, oh shit, I don't want Cam to leave. I need to tell Cappy that I have the idol. So that's eventually what happened.
Classic,
Mm.
classic. And yeah, Will did a really good job of like fighting us today. It's just at this point, what can you do? But like Will was like putting in the work to everybody to try to make a case.
I want to say though, it was really fun to watch him stumble.
Yeah.
Like
It
watch,
was really fun.
like respectfully, I love you, Will, but the smile on my face to watch you panic was great.
Well, because also Will, even though he was loud, he had been so like calm and collected this entire time, even with like being in the minority and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he was just scrambling so hard.
If you're
He
not
knew
scrambling,
he knew that he was going soon. That's the thing. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yep. And yes, Will ends up becoming the 5th member of our jury. And we go into the final 6. Congratulations on making it to that point, everyone.
It's the beginning of the end.
Yes.
Ooh.
And yeah, Dinah gets the immunity. And Dinah
That was
kicks off this
the
round
worst.
in a big way, playing the vote curse. So, how did that vote curse impact your game?
It was awful. It was awful.
I loved it.
It was awful. Because I think, if I remember correctly, she played it on Akira.
Yes.
Because she knew Akira would never vote me. So she guaranteed Akira's vote on Jaden, which allowed her to either 4-2 Jaden or 3-2-1 me.
I was there the whole time she was telling you guys, and like we came up with the plan, and it was great because like there was no way that we knew that Akira wasn't going to split, and it lined up perfectly. And I think during this vote too, Jaden told me about the idol, and I went up to Dana and I'm like, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I know you have the idol. I'm not trying to fuck you over. I know you're gonna win. Just let me be with you, and we can go through the next round, fresh.
Also, in my comp, I think before the immunities results were revealed, I think I literally said that Dino winning immunity is the only thing I don't want to happen. And then it happened. Because Dinah told me later they grinded for like hours to get. That was an insane score. They got like 18,000 or something.
Oh yeah, and Hextress, it was monstrous.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you get that score.
Yeah. Also, this round, I'm sorry, Jaden, because Dinah was like pinning everything that like me, Kyle, and Jaden had done on Jaden, and that's why like they wanted Jaden out, and me and Akira just rolled with it because we both knew that especially the swap was mostly me, but we didn't want me to go, so we kind of were just like, yeah, it was Jaden. So sorry,
All
Jaden, if
Jaden
you're
had to
watching
do was
this.
have like one conversation exposing you,
Literally,
and
all he had to do was compare notes with people, and he would have survived.
Wait,
undoubtedly.
what?
Yeah,
Jaden was
because
just ratting out Cappy, and if Jaden did that, whew.
Bro,
yeah,
that's
because
crazy.
like Dinah was going after Jaden so hard because she thought everything at swap was Jaden. She thought flipping Akira at merge was Jaden.
Dang.
And that was me. But me and Akira obviously were about to be like, oh no, that was me, because then Dinah would flip the vote onto me. So
Mhm.
literally all Jaden had to do was talk to Dinah or Lucky, and he probably would have stayed.
And well, it really does come down to how convincing Jaden is, because it would come
Yeah.
across as desperate, probably a little bit, but like,
Well, yeah,
can
Jaden
Jaden
kind of
really
had
do
a.
it in a way where like it actually makes sense? Because I don't think they just had that. I don't think any of them had that perception of you at that point.
I mean, Jaden had a paranoia and scrambling streak, so I feel like it might have not worked, but it probably would have
Yep.
if he could like collect his thoughts enough.
The world may never know. All right.
Been getting much.
And so, Lucky comes in and wins immunity. And so
How dare
Dinah
she?
famously has the idol at this point. And so the odds are looking pretty grim this round. And
Yes.
yeah, how about this final 5 round?
Okay, honestly, obviously I did not enjoy going out so soon or so close to FTC. But there's really nothing I could do. However, I am glad for the reason I went out because it was. I'm sorry, it was the funniest thing. Because Dinah was basically just like, I think Ham has less of a chance of beating me in fire making, so you're going home because you're a physical threat.
You know what's great? I told her that.
Yeah.
And
I
it was,
DM'd her and
uh,
I was like, hey, obviously you have the idol. I know you're gonna play it. Cappy has a higher win streak than me. You're gonna win against. You're gonna lose against him. Have me go up against fire making with you.
it was just
And
so
it,
bizarre.
Like in my like unbiased opinion, well, very biased opinion, but I honestly thought I played great socially and great strategically, and then I got voted out for being a physical threat.
Your strategy had nothing to do with it, and I remember like the hosts talking about it, and it was just like, this is really what they're voting out Cappy for?
I was so mad because I was like, Dinah, I want stab.
Just because Akira and Cam are bad at challenges? That's the only reason Cappy's getting voted out?
I was so mad,
uh,
but I have come to accept that fact, and I'm at peace with that.
yeah.
That's all.
But yeah, if you had been a traitor to your word, you would have won the game.
Honestly, if okay, I feel like if I betrayed Akira, I could have possibly, maybe made the end. But I was never gonna do that because I
You
just
just have
couldn't
one more
bring
vote to
myself to do
survive.
it. No, just like I could have never done that to Akira.
Oh yeah,
There's no way. There's
yeah,
no way.
yeah. Your only shot was if they went for Akira over you.
Hmm. And I would have had to be the one to like initiate that, and I was just not ready to do that.
Cam was trying to initiate it.
what?
I remember you two had a conversation. You were both talking about it in your confessionals about potentially voting for Akira, and it seemed like you were on board for it at the time, Cam.
Oh yeah, anything me and Cappy said to each other was complete BS, and we both knew it.
Oh yeah, that was complete
It's funny
bullshit.
because in your confessionals, you both seemed down for it.
Oh, that's the point.
No,
You both
also,
went to your confessionals
actually,
like, I want to do this.
also apparently, according to Dinah, this round Lucky actually did not want to go for me, but Dinah basically was just like, "No, we're going for Cappy," and Lucky was just like, "Okay." So that
Yeah,
was the end of that story.
yeah.
Classic.
So I had so many like I had a big chance to stay, but it just never happened because Lucky just didn't fight for it, and I was not willing to betray it.
Yeah. It was just you couldn't deal with the powers at that point. The two biggest
Mhm.
physical threats just had an idol. Can't really break that.
That is why I wanted Dinah to lose the final six immunity so bad, and why I went so hard on it was because I knew I could just like get votes onto Dinah and try to get her idol out of the game before the final five, but it just did not work.
Yeah.
I knew Jaden. I mean, obviously you can never say for sure, but I was pretty confident that even if I had initiated a Dinah vote, Jaden still probably would have gone home at the final six. I
I
mean,
mean, it really comes down to what Cam is open for, I think.
yeah,
What do you say, Cam?
unless
What do
it's
you
just like
do?
split three ways.
What do I do? Sorry, I'm zoning out.
If Dinah loses final six immunity, do you go for Dinah with Cappy or do you go for Jaden still?
Oh, I would have gone for Cat or Dino.
You would have gone for Cappy. Classic, classic.
So yeah, if Dino loses, I think it's honestly 4 idle votes to 2, and either me or Jaden are going home. And I was kind of if Dinah lost the immunity, I was kind of banking on the fact that Jaden was gonna have a bigger threat level than me, and that Dinah would go for him.
Yep.
But big what if?
All right. Well, Kim, this next round is your round, I suppose. So, break down this final four.
Oh my god. Okay. So basically, we all had the 4 challenges for immunity. I redeemed myself in the hand on the idol. Did more than 3 hours. I tragically fell asleep, so didn't get as high as I wanted. Um, Lucky dominated a lot. Lucky and Dinah obviously head to head, big challenge threats. And I think to a lot of people's shock, but also enjoyment, Lucky won, making Dinah open, like the most obvious open target. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, because Lucky and Dinah were together. Obviously, they wanted to go to FTC, so Lucky wasn't gonna flip. Lucky's stubborn. Lucky says what she wants. Lucky does what Lucky wants, and Lucky wanted to keep Dinah. So Lucky and Dinah were together, and then it was me trying to convince Akira to go tie for me so I can get into fire. With that, I was telling her that obviously she has a better shot of winning if Dinah isn't there. Clearly, I had the hopes that wasn't true. Clearly didn't happen. But with that, Kira agreed that Dinah was the threat, and we tied. So into that, we had what we both knew what was happening, fire making, and it was the emoji challenge. And I don't know how, but I wake up 5 minutes before the challenge. We get everything set up. Poe scrambles to make his board because he can't find the one that Shane makes. And we start. And then the first emoji drops, and I answer the wrong color, and I give Dinah a free point. Dinah scores another point. And then the org gods answered my prayer, and I proceed to win the challenge. It was what, 5-3, 5-2.
5-3, I believe, because I think you gave 2 points.
Yeah. So I gave Dinah the handicap and still won. Not to flex or anything.
Classic.
And then to everyone's surprise and my own, I win and Dinah goes home, putting me in a nice spot for the finale.
Everyone was banking on this fact that Dinah was making FTC. I'm sorry, but like the
I was
entire
so
jury
ready
was
to
just
go
like,
home.
okay. The entire jury was just like, well, Dinah, we're voting Dinah.
No, I was so ready to be part of jury. I was taping out my final words. Like I didn't expect to win. There was million odds.
A million odds, you say?
A million odds.
In a
I got
million
the
odds?
lucky one. I won the million odds lottery. You should sign up, Poe. You might win something.
I won final immunity, and then I gave it up. So take that, Cam.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Foe has something to say. On Foe's behalf, Cam winning was quite the shock. Foe was rooting for Cam, kinda, and it was great to watch him pull it off.
Aw, thanks, Poe. Foe.
That's Foe Eater Griffin to you.
Thanks, Griffin.
Foe Eater Griffin.
Oh,
That's
either.
that's too many syllables.
Hey, Foe Eater. Foe, you bring a lot of question marks, honestly.
Mysterious.
Foe, you're mid. That's what I said. All right. And so you get into Final Tribal Council. So, um, let's just say some general thoughts on Final Tribal Council. I don't think a deep
Yeah.
dive really is needed, but just like your thoughts, notable speeches, anything like that.
Okay, so I just want to quickly throw this out there. Lucky did not deserve to be a zero vote finalist. Lucky is the only person I've ever met in any org that was just completely honest all the way through and made it work. However, I feel like Lucky got 0 votes because everyone thought it was going to be, or everyone knew it was going to be too close, and nobody wanted to risk throwing a vote and potentially having the person they wanted to win lose.
Yeah. But yeah, I absolutely agree. I honestly think everybody in this cast was somebody who, if they made the end, had a case to win.
Yes,
Like
for sure.
that's why
Maybe
it's such a good season, because everybody was playing. And so
no,
it's just the unfortunate case with Lucky.
yeah. I genuinely think if anybody who made the merge, or even some pre-merge boots made the end, they had a shot at winning.
Yo, Bryce
100%.
winning
There was-
unanimously against Cam and Lucky?
Yo, I'd vote for Bryce.
Foe says a lot of jurors had main character syndrome. Foe believes Akira got votes more so because people liked her a lot more, whereas Cam had to fight to get votes. It was really a question of if Cam could gather together 5 votes against Akira's lead.
Oh my
Um,
god, I so
no
agree with
comment.
this. This was I don't think I've ever written more. Like I wrote a 4-page essay for you, like speech for you guys. I've never written that much in my college career or high school career.
Your college
Okay,
career?
I just started that actually. I signed up today, but no, I busted my ass off because I was more than okay getting any placement, but I wasn't gonna. I made it this far, and with everything that I've gone through, I wasn't gonna go down without fighting my hardest, you know. And I think that what was my downfall was that Akira was more liked, you know, and I did have to fight. You know, jury management wasn't something that I was wanting to keep track of because I was more focused on surviving.
Honestly, I can't speak for the other 3 plus Lucky that voted Akira, but I don't think there was any doubt in anyone's mind that I was voting anyone other than Akira. Like,
Oh, we
she
knew,
was
yeah.
just there for me game wise and personally the entire season, and just like how I couldn't bring myself to vote her in game, I couldn't bring myself to not vote her at FTC. Like, I just would have felt like such an ass for that.
No, and everyone has their own right for like everyone has their own reason for who voted who, and I 100% respect that, you know. And with it being so close, it showed like you know that there was a lot of push for both sides, you know. And then again with Lucky, I even texted them after the game. I was like, you deserved at least one, you know. Everyone who makes it, you know, it was
Well,
it was a tough circumstance, you know.
not everyone who makes it deserves it, but Lucky definitely
Yeah.
did.
Oh,
Lucky was
I
such
think
a
a finalist who did
superstar.
not deserve it.
hmm but no, but with it being so, I was expecting it to be like a 5-3, if I'm gonna be honest, with me being second, you know. So I was really happy with it being a 4-4, and then into the tie.
There was a
But
long time it felt like Taylor was going to vote for Lucky, and then Lucky just like didn't answer
Mhm.
the speeches the way Taylor wanted. But if Lucky changes the FTC approach, I think Taylor votes Lucky.
Yeah, I think Taylor, Calvin, and Kyle. I think Calvin ended up
I
voting
don't
for
think Kyle
Cam.
was going to vote Lucky at any point.
Calvin voted for
No. Let me
me.
explain. Let me explain. Because
Okay.
Kyle was me and Kyle were talking in DMs during this time, and after it was revealed that it was a tie, well, he was already saying that he might vote Lucky because he feels like she deserves at least one vote, and he felt like she wasn't getting a vote. But then when we realized how close it might actually be, he decided that he was gonna not risk it and vote Akira instead. So Kyle was genuinely about to vote Lucky for most of FTC until we realized that it was gonna be like so close.
Can I ask something really quick?
You can.
So who voted me? Because I know Calvin, Sam, and Will did, but I never knew who the fourth
I
vote
think
Dinah.
was.
It was
Dinah.
definitely Dinah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Dinah was not voting
Mhm.
Akira. Like Dinah was always you
Everyone.
or Lucky, all the
I
way.
never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
dang.
honestly, everyone thought, like, most of the jury thought that Dinah was basically locked on Akira, but then she came in and she was like, me and Akira actually never really talked that often. We were kind of just associated together throughout the
Mhm.
game.
Akira talked a
So,
lot to her close allies, but then like a lot of
mhm.
people were saying like like Sam never had a relationship with Akira, Will never had much of a relationship with Akira, you know.
She was very selective with who it was, and it
Yeah.
showed.
And she was a very good social player with those players, but it was just there were
Mhm.
players who never had that relationship. And so that I
Yeah.
think that helped contribute to the split a bit more too.
I'll also say on that topic that Akira does work long night shifts and she's usually very tired. So that might
She had a
contribute to it.
12-hour week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was insane. I felt so bad for her.
Yes. Foe has something else to say.
Oh,
Um,
God.
Foe did not love Lucky's approach to the speech. It felt like she was always going to vote Akira and was just toying with Cam.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Did you ever feel like you had a shot at Lucky's vote once it tied Cam?
Uh, the thing is, I was ready to make a video speech to Lucky, proving that I felt like I deserved the win because I knew that I felt like she didn't respect my game. She saw me as like lackluster, like as a for a I can't think of another word,
I think that's
but
what she called you, yeah.
really,
Wasn't there like literally like the final 5 or 6 tribal council where like Lucky said you weren't playing that good or something in
probably,
the tribal chat?
Prob-
Um,
what
but I
the
will say that I thought that it was going to be close. So I did actually ask a question that was like, who would you vote if like you had to vote one of your other two finalists? And Lucky did
Mhm.
say Akira. So
That's what
I kind of
solidified me
thought
being nervous.
that's why
Yeah,
I thought that Lucky was just toying with Cam because she literally already said that she would vote Akira.
that's why I want. That's why, like, I know I noticed that question, and then after you said that, I saw the responses, and I don't know if you kind of saw like after that question though. I pushed harder into my answers, trying to persuade more,
Mhm.
and then I had Will, who made that video. I don't know if you watched that. To Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Sorry, I lost it.
Unforgivable, Cam.
I'm sorry.
Well, uh, you can keep on going with whatever you want for as long as you want. I'm just going to say it here since we've reached sort of a natural point. Is there anything else you would like to say to the viewers of the podcast? Anything at all?
Apply for season 15,
Yes, apply for season 15.
and then also watch 14 because like
Actually,
the
season
spin-off kind
15
of dead.
is Survivor Poteet versus Joan, so we're not taking returns.
It
It's just a
is,
1v1.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I will
Sorry to
also
spoil.
say because I feel like some people might have this perception of it, but my final words to Dinah were all like genuine. Like those were the emotions that I felt genuinely were happening at that time, and it wasn't just me trying to be like, "Oh, I'm better than you." Like you actually suck, even though everybody thinks you're not. You're doing the best because Dinah did do very very well, and she did do better than me. But at that moment, like when I was getting voted out, I just did not understand her reasoning, and though that was like genuine emotion in my final words.
I just want to say thanks. Like, this was my last org for a while. Until I don't know when. And it had everything. Idle plays, rocks, fire making. Like, I couldn't ask for a better season to be involved in, especially without Tommy as a host. Pretty nice.
That was the best
But
part, right?
it was. I
Yes.
enjoyed it. But like, I just
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
so
I don't, not a lot of people know me, but if you've seen me play throughout the year, I think that this org has made me come full circle, and I love it. And thank you.
And Foe would like to add, for a real thing, I really appreciate how much we ran with Wistman's Wood, the location. Yeah, I don't think it really translates how much time that the host spent on call discussing how to work in the theme. Like,
What was
we were very careful cultivating it, I think.
the spooky theme was great. I like the
I don't
aesthetic
think
of
the
the
horror
season.
was as obvious as we wanted it to be, but it still existed, and I did
it
like
was
that.
more anxiety than horror.
Well, that was the whole point. We were
Yes,
going for suspenseful horror, and so we didn't lean
yeah.
into it as much as we wanted to, but we were going to do a lot of stuff like saying something to the effect of, hey, you never know what's around the corner, and like posting like creepy teasers and hinting that something bad's coming up, and nothing would ever happen, but we would
Oh
always just try
Oh,
god.
to
trust me,
hint that it would. And we did that kind of, but we could have done it more, I feel.
we were already like so on edge the entire time. I don't think you guys could have done anything to make it more on edge.
Oh, we could have. I
He
had
could
this
have.
thing,
True.
because like I hand wrote the font for this season, like on the logo and stuff. Cam may remember I did some fun
He
notes
did.
for the podcast, the
Can you
calls.
put it on screen?
I don't have it
It's in my
saved anymore, but
it's in my confessional.
I'll
Put on
post
like
it.
it's a
I'll just drop it in the destination chat. But I
okay.
had one written up that was, "Hey, don't worry, there are totally no twists this round," and I was going to send that, but I just never did. And I was just going to like just drop that randomly and like delete it 5 seconds later. Once
Oh
somebody definitely
god.
saw it, like I'd wait for someone to react and then delete it.
I would have cried.
That would have been fantastic. Oh yeah, we were going to do be careful of the next 15 minutes.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot we could have done just for shit posting purposes, I suppose. But yeah, definitely a fun concept, fun season. And so I open it up once more. Is there any final thoughts that you would like to add before we take this off air?
Tommy needs to take breaks more often.
Fo,
Tommy
just
needs
to
to
be
skip
clear,
seasons.
I did put that in the stream in a very good way, so I'll show you after. Fo wanted me to add Fo bad. I typed it on screen and like bounced it around a few times. Big happy. All right. So with that said, thank you everybody for tuning in. We will see you next time